Hey, it's Jay, and welcome back to MCU Reviewed. This time we're going to be taking a look at episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, titled The Power Broker. So without further ado, let's get started. So the episode's going to start off, and John Walker and Lamar Hoskins are infiltrating the asylum that the Flag Smashers took refuge in the last episode. And of course, the Harborer denies any involvement with that and doesn't know where Carly ran off to. Of course, they don't believe this and demand an answer from him, but he refuses to give it, even spitting in John Walker's face. He doesn't take too kindly to that, and this scene really shows that John Walker is unprepared to take on the role of Captain America, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Picking up where we left off with Sam and Bucky, they do end up going to visit Zemo in prison. Bucky requests to go visit him alone because of Sam's status as an Avenger, and we all know how Zemo sees Avengers. He doesn't like them. And so he goes in and gives him the rundown. Like, there's Super Soldier Serum, and because of his obsession with Hydra, he has to know where to start. Of course, Zemo does. There's only one problem. He's stuck in prison. Bucky takes Sam to an undisclosed location and gives him a bunch of hypotheticals, like what if there was a prison riot, rendering the guards distracted so a prisoner could easily slip out. This is revealed to not be hypothetical, but reality, where Bucky broke Zemo out of prison. And Sam isn't too happy about this, given what Sam had to go through on account of Zemo's plot from Civil War. But Bucky reassures he's here to help. We need his help. He's going to know where to start. And of course Zemo knows where to start. But since Zemo's a Baron, they have a mode of transportation already set in a private jet. And he takes them to Madripoor. And he gives Sam the moniker of Smiling Tiger, and he tells Bucky, even though you don't want to, you need to act like the Winter Soldier, or else no one's going to negotiate with us at all. And so they go to this nightclub run by a woman named Selba, who is an ex-Hydra person, and she's definitely got the information they need. However, they need to prove that they're really here to negotiate, and Zemo uses some trigger words that would have set off the Winter Soldier to kind of, again, play up the part that this is still the Winter Soldier, this isn't Bucky Barnes. And even has him beat up some dudes on his command, just to really play up the charade, and that gets them granted access to Selva's cage. And she gives them the information in exchange for Winter Soldier. Zemo's like, you tell me where the Super Soldier Serum is being created, and you get him, the Winter Soldier, and I'll even give you the trigger words to let him carry out any deed you need him to do. She reveals that a man named Wilfred Nagel is responsible for the Super Soldier Serum, and he is in Madripoor. However, just as they're about to get more information, Sam's sister Sarah calls him and thus blows up their cover. Even though Sam tries his best to make it act like that's just an accomplice of the Smiling Tiger, she calls him Sam, which completely blows up their location. Selba orders her men to kill them all, but an unknown sniper takes Selba out before they can do anything, and a fight ensues. They're able to escape, but very, very quickly there is a large bounty placed on Sam, Bucky, and Zemo. And the whole town is shooting for them, looking for them to get that big, big cash prize. However, just as it looks like they're cornered, an unknown assailant takes out the pursuers, and it is revealed to be Sharon Carter. Finally. And she pretty much is about to kill Zemo because of everything that she went through on account of him. And they reassure her that he's here to help. And they need her help even further than this. And she's like, why should I help you? My life is over. I stole your shield and I stole Steve's shield and your wings, and now I'm a fugitive from the US. And she actually went off the grid. And Sam's like, if you help us here, I can get you a pardon in the United States to get you to come back. Because we need you, Sharon. We need you over there, too. And she agrees and is able to harbor them to get more information. And they discover that Wilfred Nagel's lab is stationed in a bunch of freights, like, those big metal freights, and it's like a secret lab. They find him while Sharon stakes outside. And, of course, a bunch of bounty hunters are on their asses, which she easily takes care of. No questions asked. Not even a problem for her. But soon realizes that there are more coming than she thinks. Inside, they're interrogating this Wilfred Nagel guy about what he's doing. Why is he doing this? And basically, he was recruited by Hydra after Zemo killed all the super soldiers from Civil War on how to make a better vial of Super Soldier Serum. And basically what he describes it as, unlike you where you're unstable and you don't become massive and huge, so it's a dead giveaway that you're obviously enhanced. This is more under the radar. Like, look at Carly. You wouldn't expect her to be a super soldier, but she's able, she definitely hits like one. So that's what he meant by that. He's like, this would be perfect. It's undetecting. It's extremely dangerous because where, Steve went from a really short dude who was like this skinny, he was ripped. And it was like a dead giveaway. This is just very under the radar, and that's deadly. In the midst of the interrogation, Sharon comes in and is like, we got company. And Zemo, the little bastard he is, shoots Wilfred Nangle in the face and kills him because, how he feels about super soldiers. And an RPG fired by one of the bounty hunters blows up the entire lab. And as they're trying to fight their way out of this, Zemo slips away and dons his purple mask from the comics. And that was a really cool moment. And is able to overpower some of the remaining bounty hunters by blowing up a pipeline to cause massive explosion and just confusion everywhere. It was a really, really cool scene. Now they go to try to find out who this power broker is. And Sharon's like, I can't. I'm still wanted in the United States, so I can't really join you. But just get me that pardon. And so, on their way to their next location, because, of course, Zemo is very eager to meet this Carly girl himself, they have really deep discussion about the shield again, where instead of it's pointing fingers, it's more like, yeah, we got to get that shield back. I mean, that's the only way this might be put to an end. And, it's a really touching scene. I'll touch on it in the review portion. But at the same time, the Flag Smashers reach a GRC location, and they take all their supplies. And, which GRC, if you don't know, stands for Global Repatriation Council. And they steal all their supplies because there's people who are still, kind of coming into terms of being unblipped. And they're like, you're just harboring all this here. But one of the guys she's with, Dovik, he's like, yeah, I mean, this is really going to help us out. And Carly triggers the building to explode. And he's like, dude, there are still people in there. And she's like, that's not my problem. This is the only language that they speak, which is just destruction. And you can see on his face, he's like, holy shit, this girl's insane. She will stop at nothing to get her goals. And it's a blink and you miss it, but you see on his face, he's like, dude, what have I gotten myself into? And finally, they reach the location they're looking for. They go to Latvia to see if they can try to find this Carly girl. Bucky needs to take a walk because he notices something on the sidewalk, and it is a little bead. And I think we've seen these beads before. And he follows a trail into this alleyway, and it turns out that these are Wakandan beads. And he's like, I knew you'd be here. And he turns around and it's Io from Civil War. The one who says move or you'll be moved to Natasha. She appears and it's like, where is Zemo? And I think Bucky kind of knew that Wakandans would kind of be tracking him at this point, seeing as they broke out Zemo, the one who killed their king. And that's the end of this episode. It's a really great ending. This episode was awesome. And it finally brought in Sharon. Like I said last episode, I was wondering when she was going to come in, and she is a total badass. She's ruthless in this. She's just stabbing people, shooting them in the head with no remorse. I guess that's what happens when you become a vigilante. And, what's the word I'm thinking about? Whatever. Fugitive! That's the word. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And I guess that's what being a fugitive does to you, because she was hardcore in this episode, and you can really see the pain on her face on what her decisions in Civil War did to her, and how nobody reached out to see if she was okay. Anything like that. You can really see that, and she was just really badass in this episode. Really good asset, so hopefully we can see her, help out Sam and Bucky more in this episode. What I meant before when I said John Walker's unprepared to be Cap, so the dude spits in his face, and he slams up against the wall and screams, "Do you know who I am?" in his face. Steve would never do that. Steve would probably just wipe it off and be like, okay, we'll try this again. Do you know where Carly is? He would take it nice and calm. He wouldn't freak out and try to assert who he is to try to, intimidate somebody into getting the information he wants. And that was a really great character trait in terms of developing this guy. It's tough. you can't just pick up the mantle of Captain America and have the same respect that Steve did. And this really showed his immaturity in terms of taking on such a massive role. And I thought that was a really great touch. I completely forgot to mention in the review that they actually have the same idea to go visit Zemo to get the information, but of course he's gone, and they know that Sam and Bucky were behind it, so I forgot to mention that. Walker and Hoskins go to get Zemo. So I forgot to mention that. But I really loved the conversation between Sam and Bucky. Sam was like, maybe I shouldn't have handed in the shield, maybe I should have just destroyed it. And Bucky's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That shield means more to me than anybody, so if you're going to go destroy it, just give it to me. Don't go destroying it. And so it's really nice to see that they moved beyond, like, you did this, no, you did this, and just pointing fingers, and, actually having mature conversations about it. And, like, I still don't think you did the right call, because now look at the mess we're in. I still don't trust Zemo as far as I could throw him. There's something, I feel like once they get the answer they're looking for, Zemo's going to pull some shit to try to, fuck over Sam and Bucky, because, there's still that shot of Bucky emptying the gun, so I don't know. But something's going to happen. I don't trust him. He's not... I would resurrect Thanos and have him help me before I trusted Zemo, because where Thanos was just power hungry, Zemo can manipulate, and that's even scarier than someone who has power. And I mean like power, not like, leadership power. But at the end of the day, I think that we're really starting to get some answers here in terms of these flag smashers, but it's nice to know that we know where the super soldier serum came from now. It's from this Wilfred Nagel guy who was blipped and came back and picked up right where he left off with this power broker guy who we have no idea who this guy is. And I don't think we'll ever know who this guy is for a while, at least until maybe the finale. But it's tough. I don't really have any theories yet. I still don't have any theories on how this is going to impact the rest of the MCU either. But we all now know that the power broker is the new threat in this show that we got to try to find and put a stop to, because he's not going to stop till he gets those vials back from Carly, who stole the rest of the 20 vials that Wilfred Nagel made. So this is a big threat. A lot of people think that Sharon's working with the power broker, because when they drove away, Sharon's like, we got a problem, we got a big problem. I don't know what that meant, though. I have no idea what I can take away from that, but we'll have to wait and see and find out what Sharon actually meant by that, who she's working with, who she's working for. Is it the power broker? I don't know. I like to believe no, because I don't want Sharon to be on the wrong side of things, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Sorry this video came out so late, by the way. Easter, so kind of pushed my filming schedule back a little bit. But, yeah, I just think that these flag smashers, I don't know, because now we've seen Carly straight up murder somebody, a bunch of people, just to get what she wants, and that's really, really scary to think about, because she just has no care in the world in terms of, I don't care, we need these supplies, and these guys, all they speak is destruction. That's just a really one-way of thinking, and just doesn't bode well usually in scenarios like this. So I have no idea what extent she's going to go to. Is she going to go to the extent of Zemo, where he blows up the United Nations, or is he going to, is she going to frame somebody to start another civil war? Who knows what extent she's going to go to, but I'm really curious to find out. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the episode. It's really action-packed for how little goes on in terms of jumping between characters, you know what I'm saying? And I think that Sam and Bucky, though they still are at each other's throat, are starting to realize that they need each other way more than they expected in the first place. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I really have no theories still in terms of how this is going to impact the greater MCU, rather than just whoever takes up the mantle of Steve. But I don't know if the Flag Smashers are going to be stopped in this show, or if they're going to continue being entities in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from here on out. I have no idea. But we'll have to wait and see this Friday for Episode 4. But, yeah. Black Widow dropped a new trailer. Loki just dropped a new trailer on the day of this filming. So that's really cool. I'm happy we're getting some updates. I hope we get some updates on movies that we haven't seen any footage of, or in TV shows we haven't seen any footage of, because that'd be really cool too. But until then, that's all I really have to say about this episode. Make sure you guys check it out, because it is a very, very solid episode, especially if you're excited to see older characters like Sharon and Io make returns. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps me out. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.